Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing another topic that is connected with the city creation. In city creation, basically we are discussing one of the topic that is India creation. So one of the person told that here basically we are discussing what India account. So one person told that India account basically is connected with the France, Germany. So France means one of the person told that what is France here basically? We basically are not getting what actually France is. Then see what actually the France is. One of the person told that what is France? France is this song basically.
Sous aucun prétexte, je ne veux avoir de réflexe malheureux. Il faut que tu m'expliques un peu mieux comment te dire adieu. Mon corps de silex, vite de grand feu. Ton cœur de pyrex résiste au feu. Je suis bien perplexe, je ne veux résoudre aux adieux. Sans aucun prétexte, je ne veux avoir de réflexe malheureux. Il faut que tu m'expliques un peu mieux comment te dire adieu. Mon corps de silex, vite de grand feu. Ton cœur de pyrex résiste au feu. Je suis bien perplexe, je ne veux résoudre aux adieux.
So this was France language. So here basically we are not discussing France language, India language. Just basically this is actually France language. So one of the person told that the earthquakes basically stable data and unstable data. When basically the satellite group and when the universe group and when the earthquake departments, not earthquake departments basically, who is handling the entire country of Hindustan, that is India basically, who handles actually really the India basically, they decides that the unstable data is full basically. Now basically we can't go beyond that unstable data, we have to give earthquake. So this story connects to what basically? This story connects to this one Sri Krishna God, one of the story. See basically that story.
शांति सर्वत्र शांति जाओ। मैं चेदीराज शिशुपाल आप सभी के इस निर्णय का विरोध करता हूं। मैं नहीं मानता, कृष्ण को अग्र पूजा का अधिकारी नहीं मानता। इस आदमी में ऐसा कोई गुण नहीं है जो इसे महापुरुष सिद्ध करता हो। अरे ये तो भगोड़ा है, भगोड़ा। सम्राट जरासंध को युद्ध में पीठ दिखाकर भागा था ये। नहीं शिशुपाल नहीं, आप चुप रहिए महाराज द्रुपद। आप लोगों ने इसे व्यक्ति महान बना रखा है, इसे महानता का पद दे रखा है, परंतु ये तो चोर है, चोर। स्त्री लोलुप है ये, कामी है, अधर्मी है, अधर्मी। अरे इसके पिता का कोई ठिकाना नहीं है। कभी कहता है कि मैं नंद गौली का पुत्र हूं, कभी कहता है कि वासुदेव मेरा पिता है। अरे इसे ठीक तरीके से अपने बाप का नाम तक याद नहीं। झूठा है, झूठा। शिशुपाल, हाय!
बताओ भैया, क्या कर रहे हो? मैं इसके 100 अपराध क्षमा करने के लिए वचनबद्ध हूँ।
किसे वचन दिया तुमने कन्हैया?
अपनी बड़ी बुआ को, और किसको? जो उसकी माता है। देवी कुंती की बड़ी बहन श्रुति श्रवा का पुत्र है ये।
लेकिन ये तो पराकाष्ठा है कन्हैया।
तुम चिंता नहीं करो दाऊ भैया, मैं इसके अपराध स्वयं गिन रहा हूँ।
देखो तो निर्लज को, कैसे अपनी प्रशंसा सुन रहा है। पूरा चिकना खड़ा है, चिकना खड़ा। दुष्ट! ये दूसरों का वध कराने में दक्ष है। अरे ये तो पूरा प्रपंची है, प्रपंची।
शिशुपाल, मैंने तुम्हारी माँ को तुम्हारे 100 अपराध क्षमा करने का वचन दिया था। उन अपराधों की संख्या अब पूरी होने वाली है, जरा ध्यान रखो।
क्या कर लेगा तू? क्या कर लेगा तू कुल के कलंक?
96 हो गए,
दम भी जालसाज,
97 हो गए,
धूर्त, चांडाल,
98,
मेरी वाह दत्ता रुक्मिणी का हरण करने वाले, दुष्ट, पापी,
99,
पर पीड़क, धूर्त, चालाक, निंदनीय है तू।
आपके मनपसंद प्रोडक्ट्स पे बड़ी डील्स। शॉप नाउ ऑन फ्लिपकार्ट ग्रुप।
पूरे 100 शिशुपाल, अब एक शब्द भी आगे बोला तो वो तुम्हारा अंतिम शब्द होगा। सावधान शिशुपाल, सावधान।
देखो तो गीदड़ सिंह को धमकी दे रहा है। अरे जा जा जाकर अपने मां से पूछ कर आ कि तेरे बाप का नाम क्या है। जा जाकर पूछ कर आ कि तेरी धमनियों में किसका लहू बह रहा है। अरे जा जादूगर जा।
बस शिशुपाल बस, बहुत हुआ। अब हम सब मिलकर तुझे जीवित नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
इस सभा में शिशुपाल अकेला नहीं है, हम भी उसके साथ हैं। इससे पहले कि तुम लोग मुझे हाथ लगाओ, मैं इस कृष्ण को भी जीवित नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
तुमने मुझे विवश कर दिया शिशुपाल।
So this was that basically movie story basically of Sri Krishna God. So that story connects here basically. So one of the person told that who is that group basically which say that basically this much is the stable data, and if that stable data converts to unstable data, for example, there are software industry basically. In software industry, how basically the software industry experts basically collects that basically, or basically counter that basically, or basically say that basically this is basically enough of unstable data. This is in politics basically, this is enough of political unstable data. This is enough of Congress. This is enough of BJP. This is enough of Aam Aadmi Party. This is enough of Akhilesh Party. This is enough of Tejasvi Yadav. So how the political writer basically counts? That is actually question. Because political writer basically, sorry, the political people basically, whatever they say basically, that happens basically after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So you can just imagine basically. That's a huge basically future plan basically they do basically. Software industry basically, they basically do little bit short term plan basically. But when 1 crore planet basically is, sorry, 1 crore project basically are connected, here basically, I have taken the example of here, that basically is connecting to, because to take the data from software to energy, it takes many years, sometimes 15 years, 20 years. It's not so easy basically. To create one potato basically from software, it takes minimum 10 to 20 years, 20, 35 years basically. It's not so easy basically to create the energies basically. Nowadays basically everything is created, so basically it doesn't take time basically, because everything basically modular coding basically is ready. Ready-made functions are available. This connects to ready-made groups basically. For example, I created one CR long before basically 10, 20, 15 years basically, I created CRM project. In CRM project basically, in PHP it was, in PHP basically there was one framework basically created in PHP. In that basically you just need to call few functions basically. That's for example, if you want to retrieve few datas from the table, you just need to write 2 to 3 lines basically. Everything basically is written in the functions basically. That basically was module basically. PHP module basically, and everything was basically written there basically. So nowadays also world is like that basically. Potato is already created basically by set of companies basically, by set of companies, set of software companies basically. Set of companies means what basically? Accenture, Capgemini, not basically. They are not doing the setting basically. The SAP, Microsoft, Oracle, PHP, Python, whatever basically. Salesforce, then C, C++, Java, COBOL, mainframe, D2K, Visual Basic. In short, basically Microsoft basically. And then basically many software companies basically are there. They basically do the setting of this everything basically. Potato creation, this creation, that creation. So Microsoft Corporation basically, SAP, this all are the base company whose unstable data some groups are tracking basically. And when that unstable data is going to reach to particular level basically, then earthquake will happen, that is 100% sure basically. Even basically the Microsoft Corporation basically might not be knowing this basically, that their unstable data is over basically. Their unstable data is already reached to particular level basically. Because it's a huge organization basically, you can't basically say that way. But Microsoft Corporation products are 98% bug free basically. Because they are tested 100 times basically. They are testing their product to internal companies, that is the Microsoft itself. They have basically many software companies basically like Accenture, Koba, Capgemini. They basically give the product to them basically. Because if Potato is supposed to create, Microsoft is not going to create the Potato and data basically. They are going to, the Capgemini, Accenture company like basically companies are going to tell Microsoft that basically we want to create one Potato project. So data basically we have, and this is the project basically, and the project name is this. They will give the project management plan to Microsoft. They give the system requirement also basically, that one Potato basically when it is going to create, what would be the potato calcium, what potato vitamin is going to generate, how many vitamins should be in potato, what would be the temperature of potato, what would be the expiry date of potato, what would be the validity date of potato, how potato's color is going to be, up to what deepness basically the potato will be, what would be the maximum weight of potato, what would be the minimum weight of potato. This everything data basically they give basically. And they say that basically this would be the price basically according to the country basically, and they basically give the list of country data also basically. So Accenture basically give everything, and Capgemini basically give everything to the Microsoft Corporation basically studies everything according to the environment. Basically they creates the SDK, that is the software development kit basically, and give to the Accenture and Capgemini company, and then basically they start doing the coding basically. Before that, the management plan basically, that is the project manager, directors. This directors, directors and senior directors and the CEO of the companies and the vice president and the owner of the company, they know that basically from this project Potato is going to create, because that product is going to give huge income basically, more than sometime 50,000, 70,000, 80,000 crore income basically are getting out from that project. Simple project basically, CRM project basically, it will earn basically 70,000, 80,000 crore basically. It's not a small amount basically. So in this type of project basically the owner basically take care of that basically. So you can just imagine basically, it's not so easy to create the project also nowadays. So you can just imagine basically. So one of the person told that these all are the base company, and how basically you say that basically by unstable data is over basically, now earthquake is going to happen. Just now basically I displayed viewed one story basically of Sri Krishna God and Shishupal basically. So that basically connects here also basically. So one of the person told that how basically the unstable data are counted basically, and how they say that basically this is unstable data. One person basically have the entire power. That does not mean that he is going to do everything basically. Whatever he said, whatever things basically he is going to do. So that does not mean that he is going to do everything basically. So you can just imagine basically it's not so easy to. So it's a digital world, and here basically I have taken the example of what? Politics, unstable data, computer unstable data. How basically the one person say that this is the stable data, this is the unstable data, and how the unstable data level are count, and how basically on the base of that unstable data earthquake happens. Earthquake means you everybody knows that basically earthquake is what happens basically if earthquake comes basically, and this basically is real fact basically. For example, in India basically big earthquake is going to happen, the calculation will be this only basically, that which we have already discussed. I have taken one example of Bangalore city. In Bangalore city 1000 buildings basically are calculated by the Microsoft. They say that basically we are taking care of this 1000 building. Taking care of means what? It's a unstable data basically. And when Microsoft will say that basically now basically our unstable data has started, and now basically our time means we can say unstable data. If earthquake is happening basically in India, if that Bangalore city and if that 1000 buildings area is getting effect, that means Microsoft unstable data number is also over basically. That is connecting to this story basically. That's the Krishna God story basically. So one of the person told that this is basically the stable data and this is the unstable data. So one person told that political writer basically who actually written the politics, he only know that basically the computer industry basically, that is the software industry basically, who is the taking care of, for example 1 crore project created and he basically dumped 1 crore software energy basically here near the head. That means that group only basically might be knowing the entire unstable data. That entire unstable data he only might be knowing, basically nobody else might be knowing this, that this is unstable, this is stable basically, this is stable, this is unstable data. If world is going to end, that means what is going to happen? The person who was taking care of entire earth planet, his unstable base data basically has done. So here basically there is like that basically. If world will end, that means the person who is taking care of world basically, his unstable data is over. That means world ended. But that basically doesn't happen basically day or night basically. It takes time basically. Same way the big earthquake comes or basically going to come, that also takes time basically. That example I have already taken. 1000 building basically is, if it's going to affect, that means Microsoft unstable data count is also done basically. So one of the person told that books, one of the person told that the legal department basically say that basically this is legal, this is illegal basically, right? Nowadays basically if one person basically see if he doing some illegal task, that also basically he does through legal basically. That means that is stable data or unstable data. That is also question basically, because there are lots of people basically who are doing many manipulation basically. That also basically with legally, with that also with perfect legal plan basically. So you can't basically see that that is stable data or basically unstable data. That is also question basically. So for that basically I have displayed lots of video basically. What is unstable data? How basically the unstable data are counted? What is the target of the each and every software companies? That all basically things basically I have displayed. Or basically you can say I have recorded lots of videos basically for that long before basically. You can watch that video basically. You will find it out basically. So one of the person told that yes, here basically. So unstable data and stable data. Stable data, earthquake will not happen. Unstable data, earthquake will happen 100%. I will take one example. For example, I am going to die. Or basically I died, assume that basically. That means my stable data is over basically. I have completed my life basically. That's all basically. So that also connect like this only basically. The India country stable data, unstable data are decided by certain level groups basically. If earthquake will happen, then basically, if big earthquake will happen, that means unstable data is over basically. Of each department, basically, who are basically controlling the cities basically, and controlling the city means earthquake is not happening in that city basically. On the basis of which parameter basically it's not happening. So that parameter we have already discussed. So you can just imagine basically how dangerous the world is created basically. You can just imagine basically. Few people says that यहाँ पे तो यार छोटी सी बात हो गई. But the news channel basically displays that video to news channel basically, because they don't ignore anything basically. Because you can't say that small thing basically which was happened basically, it has converted into big issue basically, because you can't say that this problem basically is a small problem basically, and that basically small problem converted into big stable unstable data basically, and that was also the reason of earthquakes basically. So here basically we discussed what basically. Here we discussed that unstable data. In software industry basically there are many companies, many software companies basically. For example, one live example I will take. Assume that basically eClerex is one software company where actually I have given one interview basically there, I think in 2004 basically. I exactly don't remember the date. I think that was in 2004 or 3 basically. There basically I have given the interview. I was not selected, but I have given the interview perfectly fine basically. And interview was perfect basically. It was not like that basically the interview was not perfect. Interview was number 1 basically. All answers basically was given. But they have not selected. So that was some personal basically. So I basically never interfere into that basically. So here we are not discussing that basically. So here we are discussing what basically. Assume that basically, because I had given the interview, so basically I went to eClerex basically. So I know eClerex company. So here the issue is eClerex software basically, assume that they have basically around 1 lakh products basically they have created. Products basically, at that counts to 1 lakh. From that 1 lakh basically it might possible that few software companies, like basically we can't say the name basically, they might be using the product basically of their in energy level basically, which is you can say using in vegetables creation, fruits creation, or it might possible that few data basically they might be transferring, or basically somebody might be taking it basically. and on the base of that basic, this we have already discussed. On the base of that, the share bazaar basically are calculating his data, and according to that, plus minus happens of the eClerx share market, and according to that only basically he gets the future projects. Basically, you can just imagine basically he is getting the projects basically on the base of share bazaar. Basically, you will not imagine basically his entire business development team is getting the project according to the share market basically, because he has already jumped into that public money basically, you can say. Infosys is there basically. Infosys is also same way basically. He's also product basic. He's also basically products might be getting used in vegetables creation, fruits creation basically. And according to the fruits and vegetables, the people use that human needs. According to that basically the entire display happens of the share market of Infosys. According to that only his business developments groups gets the development projects. So you can just imagine basically how the things are basically connected, and how the stable unstable data is connected. So you can just imagine basically stable and unstable data is very dangerous basically. You will not believe it basically. And this everything basically the big software companies that are the experts basically into market of the stable and unstable data, they basically know that basically, yeah, this just now basically this project basically over now basically, that will convert it to unstable. This project basically which has converted, that will 100% go into the stable. So they know that basically the project basically projects finish, that means stable or unstable data, it's going to one side basically. Both side basically you can't go stable or unstable, or it might possible that few data basically will go in stable, few into unstable, that also possible basically. That is also possible basically. Stable data, unstable, stable data, unstable. Project done, stable. Project not done. Project done, unstable. Project done, stable. Project done, unstable. So each project basically gets one remark. Stable, unstable, or basically sometimes it's both basically. Stable, unstable, both. So you can just imagine basically how companies' markets are covered basically. So you can just imagine. So in next video basically we are going to see little bit more about this stable and unstable basically.